Sophia, and I'm factionalist, so here's my presentation. Let's start with government. So I have an anarchy government, meaning I don't really have a government because anarchy is the absence of a government. So our values are diversity, freedom, individuality, anti-normality, and anti-authoritarianism. So what does this look like in real life? Just click the next like 5 times. So diversity, schools aren't separated by race. Freedom, you can say your beliefs even if they disagree with the government. Like you can say, I don't like how President blah 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 did blah 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 without getting thrown in jail. People have different interests and listen to different music. Well, first of all, for anti-normality is not normal or not being normal. So what might be normal for one person might not be for the next because of cultural differences and past experiences. And also anti-authoritarianism. Factory workers could go on strike because they're not happy with the choices their leader has made for them. And then how could this be infringed upon? You could separate schools by race or economic status, and women were once not allowed to vote, and this infringed upon their freedom. And in some schools, they don't let you dye your hair or wear certain clothes that express yourself. And anti-normality, to infringe upon that, you would be forcing someone to be normal. So telling someone what to do or making everyone be the same would be infringing upon that. And also, anti-authoritarianism is if one person would tell you what to do, that would be infringing upon your right. Next, please. And yes, this has happened to me. I would really like to dye my hair, but because of certain rules, I can't. And that infringes upon almost all of the values. So why do we have these values, and why are we in anarchy government? So before, we were kicked to the curb because we weren't good enough or we rejected the faction ways. Now these values can help us be more what we want to be and give us the freedom to do that. Next slide, please. So next slide, please. And so here are the we believe statements. So we believe in diversity, for we have the right to be different in who we are. If we are the same, there wouldn't be any interest to us. And then we believe in freedom, which gives us the chance to have all other values and also allows the freedom of ourselves. We believe in individuality because everyone is now who they are and not everyone is the same. We believe in anti-normality, which is important because now everyone is different in some things, and so we have more freedom to do what we want because no one is exactly the same. We believe in anti-authoritarianism because no one person should be in charge of everything else. If we did, things would just clash together and it just wouldn't work and no one would be happy with it. Next. And that's my government. So next is my timeline. And it might take some time to load, but first we have this little war, civil war with the dauntless people in our group. We have this because we decided, hey look, we gotta move, this Chicago thing isn't working out for us. And then I was like, hey, you're gonna move to somewhere that we don't like it there, so instead of being reasonable about it, we'll just rebel and have a war. And so finally we say, look, this war is just pointless, we gotta stop. So we make a plan and we say, okay, well, we're gonna migrate northeast, but it has to have things that everyone likes in it, so there has to be places like cities and then forests and then caves, so everyone likes it there. So we found a place that we like after we migrated northeast, and we settle down there. Then we make the chart plan, which is our policies and laws and stuff like that, but we don't have one. And we like it there. So then we finish construction, and then we're happy there. So that's my timeline. And next is geography. So this is a map of my area. First we have lots of water sources because people need water to live, and also it helps them make lots of things like water turbines. We have some cities for the people who like to live in cities and villages. We have the caves there and some deserts and stuff and a few mountain ranges. And that's geography. So next is economy. Oh, and yeah, so next is economy. And so here's my economic report. So we have a pure market economy. Since we are an anarchy government, this choice best fits the country. We produce all sorts of things. And because the people choose what to produce, it's just practically everything, except we don't produce any natural gas or any kind like that pollutes the area. And now, in the time we're living in, there's almost none left, and the land is kind of caving in some areas because of old landmines and stuff like that. So we produce lots of fresh goods because the former AMD or AMD-like people are really good at farming. We have tons of farmland, so we produce lots of fresh goods like fruits and vegetables. And also wheat is a big thing. And also lots of goods and services take place other than that. So since we don't have government, there is no government involvement. And for our price system, we barter with each other. So, but the individual chooses the value of an item, but in a reasonable range. So a hat might be worth an apple, but not a handcrafted table. Okay, so that's economy. And last, culture. So for my culture, since we have so many different types of people, it's kind of all over the place. And keep in mind while I'm reading this that since all they've known is the factions, lots of their stuff is based off of that, and they don't really go to new extent because they've never seen that kind of thing before or have been exposed to it. So their architecture is simple. In their big cities, it's mostly just simple white buildings, nothing too crazy. It's just all their architecture has to fit the needs, not be using up resources that they can't use. And the education, there is an education, but it's not, you don't have to go. And it's for ages 8 to 20. It's not the best education out there, but it works for people who need it. And celebrations, every year on January 5th, we have a major celebration, and it celebrates the new year. Not everyone comes, but most do, and it's a way of seeing people you haven't seen in a while, and everyone connects together and trades. It's really fun. In transportation, we don't have any kind of natural gas sucking up things like cars that use gasoline. So we walk from place to place, and occasionally we'll use bikes and stuff. And people, to get a bike, we have to find old bikes, or they build their own. And then music, we don't have a ton of music, but when we do, it's all different kinds of things, but nothing too techno-y, because we don't have the technology for that. And also festival music and stuff like that. And for performances, there are a few, not many. The ones that we do have usually just teach lessons and are for education use only. In recreation, you play a lot outdoors, not much is actually indoors because we don't really have board games and stuff like that. We do have a few, but they're usually made out of stuff lying around in your house. And food, we have lots of fruits and vegetables from the farms, and wheat, nothing too chemically like Gatorade-like stuff. So yeah, and also lots of eggs because we kind of farm, but we don't really eat that much meat. But yeah, that's the culture of my factionless group, and that's it.